Alright, gonna take a sidestep from doing character creations like this week and possibly next week, to kind of like finish up all the books that I have so far. So like finish up, in a sense, product reviews. Now, what I'm going to get into is I'm going to kind of get into like a Trinity kick. So finishing up this, so I'm getting into adventure books. So I'm actually not going to do like flip throughs. So what I'm actually going to talk about is four books, Descent into Darkness, Passes Through Darkness, and Ascent into Light, and Hidden Agendas. So this is pretty much like this trilogy right here is pretty much the flagship campaign or for Trinity. So think of Age of Ashes for Pathfinder Second Edition. I mean, that was the kind of like the kickoff, the campaign that you could do to pretty much run a whole campaign in the Pathfinder Second Edition, and it was like one of if not the first one. So it takes you all that one takes you all the way from levels 1 all the way up to level 20. Now in Trinity there are no, in a sense, levels. There's just the way you gain experience is then you turn around and use the experience to, in a sense, increase your attributes, increase your abilities. You can increase your overall psi, your psionic abilities, your willpower. So or you can increase backgrounds and stuff to purchase more backgrounds, maybe more resources, influence or contacts, allies, stuff like that, and everything. So get into like the previous videos that I've done on Trinity and everything, especially the flip throughs. So you kind of have a know-how of like what the concepts I'm talking about. So this is like the flagship campaign. So now Hidden Agendas kind of like is kind of a one shot that kind of introduces you to the Darkness Revealed trilogy. So all these books they have the color sections that you have that kind of like give you like new concepts and everything. So you can see here gets into concept of like Antarctica. So then you go through here and I'll do flip throughs of this color section, because this is just basically background information. So you have Antarctica, you have Oceania. So basically we have submersible cities and stuff that actually gets into this. I'm having trouble flipping. So it gets into the concepts of the cities that are undersea, and stuff that's in Antarctica. So it gives you even more background information to be able to run the game. So even if you don't use this adventure itself, it does give you information that you can use to run your own campaign and everything. So kind of trying to do it so that way give enough people time to kind of pause and be able to zoom in and read and everything. So it gives you each section psi order, rank, and officials. So it gives you kind of the who's who of high ranking officials in each of the psi orders, kind of your top brass type of deal, your top management, your CEOs and your CFOs, and basically the upper echelon of the society. So that's that first section. Now basically the black and white. So I just kind of that section kind of is the adventure itself. So now with this Hidden Agendas, like I said, it's basically a one shot, and so it does get into concepts it does have some information so gets into pirates, gets into the thing. Of course, pirates in the 22nd century would be more space pirates and stuff. So it gets into different types of vehicles and everything. So it does have it does also act as a source book. So you can kind of see here a cool nifty armor set that you can get and everything. So it got information on that and everything. So it got gives you information for the orbits of the planets and stuff. So it kind of gives you a basic understanding of that. Gets into architecture. So the actual adventure isn't really that much of this book. So you see here a sport called Gravball. It gets into that as well. So as you can see, most of this book is the background information before getting into like the actual adventure. So this one acts as like a kind of like a one shot, as like a ramp into the whole uh, 3-part trilogy of Darkness Revealed, which is basically the, like I said, the flagship campaign setting for like this this game. So now like each book, like all the others, does have like as you can see, like a colored sections with like basically material for like the players. So I'm going to quickly flip through this. So it gives like you background information on like stuff, and so then it actually like as you can see in most of this book is where the adventure is. So this is actually broken into like actually 2 parts. So like you got like a kind of like a 2-parter. So you got another more colored parts in here to kind of like give more background information. So it's like kind of like 2 episodes. So in essence, so you could theoretically run each episode in this book per session or whatever, depending on how fast you move through like your sessions and how long you play and everything. So it all depends on the group. So like each of these books has like in a sense 2 episodes that build upon the previous one. So just like this is the second book, so like usual you have like a section of like colored information for like players and stuff. Then it gets into like the actual like adventure itself, and then that's for like so in essence you have episodes 1 and 2. You could quite possibly think of like a TV series. Then in here you got episodes 3 and 4, and you got the second section for like colored stuff that kind of builds upon this, and then you get into the actual adventure. So that's book 2, and then book 3 is pretty much tying up the everything. So like you got color sections for like in a sense episode 4 gets into the information for episode 4. Then you get into like the colored, in a sense, the colored section for episodes 6. So I'm losing track of that. Episodes 1 and 2, 3 and 4, and then 5 and 6 and everything. So basically, like this is like a 6-episode adventure and everything. So like almost like a condensed first season for like a TV show type of deal. Now, of course, like I said, it all depends on how you group the plays and how fast they can get through and everything. And so you could and of course, going back to this, you can always use this like hidden agendas as like a one shot, either as a ramp into this actual campaign setting, or you can just use like this as like a one shot like an episode for like one time adventure or whatever. So like this game I actually did play back almost 30 years ago. So and like did my brother and I got into this, and like he did use this as kind of like a one shot type of deal in the campaign we were doing. Now we never actually did get into this, but he did end up using like a lot of the information and stuff to kind of like ramp into like our own campaign. So like as like the dungeon master or the game master, or like Blue Rose calls them, narrator, basically the person who isn't like one of the player characters gets into like the, in a sense, like the, I'll call them game master here. Yeah, they're the ones that are actually running this adventure. So like the you can like go into the actual like book itself, like as I pull it out now. It does this book does have like a kind of like a section in the back as like a spoilers. So the book that I ended up getting way back when didn't, but like it does give like a spoilers on like the whole overarching theme of this. I mean, this gets into that, so you can take it or leave it. But this, and then there's like 2 more adventure books that I'll be getting into that tie into this and kind of like give you an overall arc and theme of the whole like since Trinity campaign. So like anything, you can either take anything, everything, or nothing at all, and run your own campaign and everything. So, but the great thing about these and the other 2 that I will be getting into is you could literally run like a whole campaign just on like a 5 adventure books and everything. So like but again, to each his own. However you want to run it, take as little or as much as you want from this. Run your own campaign. But like these are supplemental books for the game now. I have done a flip through of the actual book and everything, so go back and check that out so you get a basic understanding of the game itself. And I have done a character creation for this, so go check that out as well. So that way you know going in you can get the book and then do see the character creation. Have like a great foundation for starting a game like this. Like if you're looking for something other than D&D or Pathfinder or something. So like, and I know Paizo does have their Starfinder, which I have books on, videos on as well. But like, this is all about like the adventure books of this, which basically is the whole campaign for Trinity. So this would in a sense let you be able to run a whole campaign without having to do much, if any, of the legwork for this whole game as well.